professor doutor Vanderlei Salvador Banhato, representante da congregação do Instituto de Física de São Carlos. O professor doutor Oswaldo Novaes de Oliveira Júnior, representante do chefe do Departamento de Física e Ciência dos Materiais do Instituto de Física de São Carlos. Professor Dr. Richard Charles Garrat, chefe do Departamento de Física e Informática do Instituto de Física de São Carlos. Composta a mesa dos trabalhos, passo a palavra ao professor Dr. Glaucius Oliva, diretor e presidente da congregação do Instituto de Física de São Carlos.
Boa tarde a todos. Declaro abertos, então, os trabalhos da Igreja Congregação do Instituto de Física de São Carlos, reunida hoje aqui, especialmente para a outorga da medalha de honra e diploma de professor honorário do Instituto de Física de São Carlos ao nosso homenageado de hoje, professor Dr. Willian Daniel Phillips. E, sendo uma sessão solene, eu gostaria de convidar todos para, em pé, cantarmos o hino nacional.
Se o penhor dessa igualdade conseguimos conquistar com braço forte, em teu seio, ó liberdade, desafia o nosso peito à própria morte. Ó pátria amada, idolatrada, salve, salve, Brasil, um sonho intenso, um raio vívido, de amor e de esperança a terra desce. Em teu formoso céu risonho límpido, a imagem do cruzeiro resplandece. Gigante pela própria natureza, és bela, és forte, quadro do colosso, e teu futuro espelha essa grandeza. Terra dourada, entre outras mil és do Brasil, ó pátria amada, dos filhos desse sol resplandente, pátria amada, Brasil. Eternamente imenso, esplêndido, ao som do mar e à luz do céu profundo, fulguras do Brasil, florão da América, iluminado ao sol do novo mundo, do que a terra mais garrida, teus risonhos lindos campos têm mais flores, nossos bosques têm mais vida, nossa vida no teu seio mais amores. Ó pátria amada, idolatrada, salve, salve, Brasil de amor eterno seja símbolo, o lábaro que ostentas estrelado, e diga o verde louro desta flâmula, paz no futuro e glória no passado. Mas serves da justiça clava forte, verás que o fim do teu não foge a luta, deteme quem te adora a própria morte. Terra dourada, entre outras mil és do Brasil, ó pátria amada, dos filhos desse sol resplandente, pátria pátria amada Brasil.
Ouviremos o pronunciamento do professor Dr. Glaucio Oliva, diretor do Instituto de Física, em nome da congregação do Instituto de Física de São Carlos.
Obrigado a todos. Mais uma vez, boa tarde. Prazer para o Instituto de Física de São Carlos, hoje, nessa sessão da congregação, poder contar não só com seus membros, mas também com outros que hoje nos visitam. For the sake of mutual understanding, I will speak in English. Thank you all for coming to this solemn session of the congregation of the Institute of Physics of São Carlos. It's a great honor for the Institute to award Professor Willian Daniel Phillips with its Medal of Honor. This medal was established by the congregation of IFISC as a special tribute to personalities from Brazil or abroad who have outstandingly contributed to the advancement of science and to the academic, scientific, and cultural progress of the Institute of Physics of São Carlos of the University of São Paulo. This is particularly significant considering that it is the first time ever that this Medal of Honor is being awarded. Together with the Medal of Honor, the congregation of IFISC has awarded Professor Willian Phillips with the title of Honorary Professor of the Institute of Physics of São Carlos. I'd like to share with you some biographical highlights of our guest, and for that purpose, referencing much of his biography published by the Nobel Foundation. Professor Phillips was born on November 5th, 1948, in Wilkes-Barre, Pennsylvania. Well, thanks to Google Maps, I could find the location of Wilkes-Barre, and I have a map of it here with me. It's somewhere north of Philadelphia and west of New York. So more or less you can find yourself. His mother, Mary Catherine Savin, was born Italian and later immigrated to the US in 1920. His father, Willian Cornelius Phillips, also called Bill, was born in Juniata, a community on the edge of Altona, also in Pennsylvania. Both his parents attended a community college at Huntingdon, Pennsylvania, and with that background, strongly stimulated their children with the values placed on reading and education. Professor Phillips recalls that as soon as he could read for himself, he was regularly walking across town to go to the library, and from these very early days was always interested in science. At school, he was placed into an experimental accelerated class with an advanced curriculum when compared to other ordinary elementary schools, including French and advanced mathematics. He continued having advanced instruction throughout his junior school. During this time, he had a laboratory in the basement of his family home, there spending many hours experimenting with fire, explosives, rockets, and carbon arcs. Dangerous stuff. At his high school, the young William Phillips enjoyed the science and math classes, but also developed his language and writing skills. Today, Professor Phillips, perhaps may I keep it, Bill, highlights the importance of his excellent high school throughout his scientific career. For example, his involvement in debating competitions helped him later to give better scientific talks. The classes in writing style helped him to write better papers, and the study of French greatly enhanced the tremendously fruitful collaboration he later had with Claude Cohen-Tanouji's research group. This highlights the importance of a humanistic instruction for young students. The summer after his first year in high school, Professor Phillips worked at the University of Delaware doing sputtering experiments in a program similar to our junior scientific initiation. We have several high school students that spend some time in our institute doing experiments in research labs. I think this is a similar system that he attended at the time at the University of Delaware. There, he developed his attraction to physics, learning an important truth from his graduate student supervisor, who said, "An experimental physicist is someone who gets paid for working at his hobby." In 1966, Professor Phillips started studies at Juniata College, and the same place as his mother and father did many years before, some 30 years before perhaps. Physics with calculus was a challenge, but a true joy. There, he enjoyed watching the films of Richard Feynman's classic public lectures on the character of the physical law. During his first year at Juniata, the physics department chairman invited him to start on the laboratory course normally taken by third-year students, a series of classic physics experiments which he did under his supervision. Later, he started doing serious research under Norris' direction. Norris was the name of the head of the department at this college, rebuilding an X-band electron spin resonance ESR spectrometer and trying to resolve discrepancies in the literature about ESR line widths. In his senior year at Juniata College, he spent a semester doing ESR experiments at Argonne National Laboratories, experiencing full-time research performed by a team of professionals who would discuss what the important problems were, decide what to do, how to do it, and then go into the lab and do it. He says, "I love it," and that probably directed his career after that into science. After that, Professor Phillips was accepted as a graduate student at Princeton, something never achieved before by a Juniata College student. Not impressed with the place, he decided to join Dan Kleppner at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, MIT. Dan has been an old friend of this house, has given a fantastic lecture at this hall some months ago. And Dan had seen his application to MIT. He also applied to MIT besides to applying for Princeton and Harvard. And then immediately invited Bill Phillips to join his group. He describes how Bill was struck by the pleasant camaraderie and the friendly yet electric atmosphere that Dan had created in his group. Professor Kleppner has expressed that same sort of friendship and collaborative attitude all the times he spent here at the Institute of Physics of São Carlos. At MIT, Bill started working on the high-field hydrogen maser, another X-band magnetic resonance spectrometer. With that project, he learned how to do electronics, machining, plumbing, and vacuum, all essential skills in experimental research. Also, he learned from Daniel Kleppner a way of thinking about physics intuitively and a way of inquiring about a problem that has shaped the way he approached physics to this day. One important thing Dan taught him was that one can do physics at the frontiers, competing with the best in the world, and do it with openness, humanity, and cooperation. This cooperative and open approach is certainly the basis for the always close contacts between the groups of Dan Kleppner and later Professor Phillips with several colleagues from IFISC, including Professor Jarbas Castro, Vanderlei Banhato, and many others. His thesis research started with measurements of the magnetic moment of protons in H2O, in water, but then changed to the use of tunable dye lasers to study the collisions of laser-excited atoms, getting, with those works, his PhD in 1976. After that, he accepted a Chaim Weizmann Fellowship to work on projects of his own choosing at MIT for another 2 years. And it was during that time he continued to work on collisions with Dave Pritchard and Jim Kinsey, and started work on Bose-Einstein condensation in spin-polarized hydrogen with them and Tom Graytak. The innovations achieved by that group long after he left, along with the developments in laser cooling, were crucial in showing the way to the eventual success of Bose-Einstein condensation in alkali vapors. In 1978, Professor Phillips accepted a position at NBS, later renamed to the National Institute of Standards and Technology, as we know it today, the NIST, in Barry Taylor's division, working with Ed Williams and Tom Nonsen on precision measurements of the proton gyromagnetic ratio and of the absolute ampere. These were exciting projects. His experience with lasers and atomic physics stimulated him to devote part of his time to explore ways of improving measurement capabilities using those tools. He used that opportunity at NIST to pursue laser cooling. So, with some borrowed equipment and some extra money from other projects, he got started with laser cooling. His amazing developments in that field eventually led him, together with Steve Shu and Claude Cohen-Tannoudji, to be awarded the 1997 Nobel Prize in Physics. It's important to highlight that his innovative work on controlling the velocity of atoms has opened whole new areas in science, as the possibility of constructing artificial molecules and solids allowed by the understanding of superfluidity, and unveiled the secrets of the quantum behavior of the microscopic world. His science contributions were seminal in the fields of laser cooling and trapping of neutral atoms, atomic gas Bose-Einstein condensates, quantum information with single atom qubits, atoms in optical lattices, atomic physics analogs of condensed matter systems, coherent de Broglie wave atom optics, and collisions of ultra-cold atoms. Professor Phillips today is a NIST fellow and group leader of the laser cooling and trapping group, and also distinguished professor at the University of Maryland, College Park. Professor Phillips has been widely recognized with a long list of prizes, awards, and honors, amongst others, the gold medal of the Department of Commerce in 1993, the Michelson Medal of the Franklin Institute in 1996. He's member of the National Academy of Sciences since 1997. He won the Nobel Prize in Physics in 1997, and the Nobel Prize citation says, for development of methods to cool and trap atoms with laser light. The 1997 prize was shared, as I said before, with Stephen Shu of Stanford University, then at Stanford University. Now I think he's a Secretary for Energy of the new government of Obama, taking power next week. And Claude Cohen-Tannoudji at the École Normale Supérieure in Paris. His honorary Doctor of Science of Williams College, his Doctor Honoris Causa of the Universidade de Buenos Aires, UBA. He's received the Arthur Schawlow Prize in Laser Science from the APS, the American Physical Society, in 1998. He's Honorary Doctor of Science of Juniata College, the same one where he started his studies. He's been awarded the Gold Medal of the Pennsylvania Society, the Richmire Award of the American Association of Physics Teachers, and he's a titular member of the European Academy of Arts, Sciences and Humanities, the Condon Award of NIST in 2002, the Archie Mahan Prize of the Optical Society of America, and he's been appointed an academician of the Pontifical Academy of Sciences in 2004. This is a short list of the long one of all of his prizes. And from now on, he's honorary professor of the Institute of Physics of São Carlos, a title that comes together with our Medal of Honor. Professor Phillips' links to the Institute of Physics of São Carlos go back to 1990, when he first came for a short visit. After that, he has visited our institute in 4 different occasions for scientific collaborations with the group of Professors Vanderlei and Marcassa, who have reciprocally visited his lab in many opportunities. As a result, there are scientific papers co-authored by Professor Phillips and some of our faculty, including what I believe, and I was told, is the only paper Professor Phillips has ever written in a non-English language, a paper with Vanderlei published at the Revista de Física Aplicada e Instrumentação of the Brazilian Physical Society. He has also received graduates from our postgraduate school as postdocs in his lab, and more recently has also opened the doors of his labs for some of our undergraduate students. And I particularly mention here the name of Eduardo Pavinato, who received his bachelor's degree last Saturday here in this hall, and before that spent 3 months in his lab. This is really remarkable. I ask, which top science lab in the world, working at competitive frontiers of science, led by a distinguished Nobel Prize winner, is prepared to receive undergraduate students from Brazil? I believe that through the years, Professor Phillips has developed a special personal relation with our institute and with São Carlos. Myself and other colleagues have heard from him saying that, as far as he is concerned, the center of the universe in Brazil is located in São Carlos. I believe so. Some people who have closely shared with him his several stays in São Carlos say that part of this fondness for São Carlos has to do with the biggest hamburger he has ever eaten, the one made at the traditional Lanche do Bigode, the burger cart located right in front at the Nossa Senhora de Fátima Church, just in front of IFISC. He has repeated this ritual every time he comes to São Carlos. And I was told by Vanderlei that this is the highlight program for tonight's dinner. Dear Professor Phillips, this house is now yours as well. We are proud to have you as a colleague honorary professor. The institute that now you are a member is in a moment of the steepest positive derivative. We have grown to almost 80 faculty, 160 technical and administrative support staff. We have 4 undergraduate programs attending nearly 600 students. Our postgraduate school, with our nearly 250 students, keeps being ranked as top in the country. We host 2 centers for research, innovation, and dissemination of science from FAPESP, the CEPIDES, and more recently, 3 national institutes of science and technology, the most prestigious acknowledgements of science in Brazil. Our scientific productivity is the top of the University of São Paulo, which, by the way, is the top university in Brazil and Latin America, the only one ranked in the top 100 best world universities, according to the Higher Education Evaluation and Accreditation Council of Taiwan. We are also proud of having a strong program of interaction with industry, with nearly 24 of technology-based companies derived in some way from our institute only in the field of optics. This is your institute, Professor Phillips, and we hope you keep coming back in the future for many fruitful endeavors in this wonderful journey of physical sciences. Thank you for your remarkable contributions to science and to the Institute of Physics of São Carlos. Thank you.
Anunciamos a leitura do termo de outorga da Medalha de Honra e Diploma de Professor Honorário do Instituto de Física de São Carlos ao Dr. Willian Daniel Phillips, pela senhora Isabel Aparecida Possato de Oliveira, assistente acadêmica substituta.
She's now reading the term that we will sign for the title of professor.
Termo de outorga da Medalha de Honra e Diploma de Professor Honorário do Instituto de Física de São Carlos ao Dr. Willian Daniel Phillips. Nos termos da Portaria IFISC 47, de 5 de dezembro de 2008, a Congregação do Instituto de Física de São Carlos, da Universidade de São Paulo, em sessão de 12 de dezembro de 2008, deliberou por aclamação de votos outorgar a Medalha de Honra e Diploma de Professor Honorário do Instituto de Física de São Carlos ao Dr. Willian Daniel Phillips, pela sua excepcional contribuição à ciência, de um modo geral, e, em especial, à pesquisa desenvolvida em colaboração com a nossa instituição, pelo seu currículo incomparável e pela difusão que faz do IFISC em várias partes do mundo. Hoje, 14 de janeiro de 2009, em sessão solene, a Congregação do Instituto de Física de São Carlos, da Universidade de São Paulo, faz a entrega da Medalha de Honra e Diploma de Professor Honorário do Instituto de Física de São Carlos ao Dr. Willian Daniel Phillips. Lavrado este ato, é ele assinado por todos os presentes e por mim.
Bem, ela vem colher assinaturas agora. Da mesa. Os outros assinaram, acho que assinam depois. Ouviremos agora o pronunciamento. É claro, eu primeiro entrego a medalha. Protocolo. We shall now give you the medal. Maybe we should walk right in from here. I shall read the diploma. A Igreja Congregação do Instituto de Física de São Carlos, da Universidade de São Paulo, tendo em vista a portaria IFISC número 47 de 2008 e a decisão proferida em sessão realizada a 12 de dezembro de 2008, confere a Willian Daniel Phillips a Medalha de Honra do Instituto de Física de São Carlos, com a qual o reconhece como professor honorário do IFISC, pela sua valiosa contribuição às ciências físicas na área de átomos e moléculas, e, em especial, à sua notável colaboração com pesquisadores brasileiros, membros dessa unidade. São Carlos, 14 de janeiro de 2009. We shall now have the words of Dr. Willian Daniel Phillips. You can have it free or please.
I want to say how deeply honored I am to receive this medal and this honorary professorship. The close relationship that I have had with the University of San Carlos over the years is something that, to me, is very precious. And it is that relationship, of course, that is more valuable than any honor that one could imagine. But having this honor helps to cement and to highlight how important that relationship has been over the years. And this is just the beginning of the continued both personal and scientific relationship. We hope to have our people from our group, including myself, return for visits here in San Carlos in the future. We hope to welcome people from San Carlos into our group in the future and to continue these very fruitful scientific relationships and these very precious personal relationships. I thank all of you very much for this tremendous honor.
Thank you very much.
Convido o professor doutor Sérgio Mascarenhas, coordenador do Instituto de Estudos Avançados de São Carlos, para a entrega do prêmio Janus ao doutor professor Willian Daniel Phillips.
So you go in front again. Maybe wait. Yeah. Let's wait to talk.
Bill, it's a great honor for all of us to have you here. In fact, with your presence, all of us are honored simultaneously by your prestige, your knowledge. So I would like to pass to your hands a prize. The last person that got this prize was our President Lula. And this is a symbol of Roman gods. That's Janus, the only gods that's not Greek in origin. It looks to the past for traditions, and it looks to the future for innovation. I think you are representative of both ideas of respect to traditions and innovation for the future. And I pass to your hands. In fact, I would like this prize to be given by our friend and colleague, Vanderlei, to pass this diploma to your hands. And I thank you very much for being with us and the possible support you are going to give to our institutes of Interdisciplinary and Innovation Center for the future of Brazil. Thank you very much. I ask Vanderlei to pass this prize to your hand to read this diploma. Perhaps you.
Okay, the diploma says the following. Janus Prize to Professor Willian D. Phillips, Physical Nobel Prize 1997, for his outstanding scientific and social contribution. Is signed by Professor Sérgio Mascarenhas, Director of the Institute of Advanced Studies, University of São Paulo in São Carlos, Brazil, and 14th of January 2009.
Thank you very much.
And I suppose it is particularly fitting to receive this award in January. And I hope that I can live up to the expectation of both this award and of the honorary professorship here at the Institute of Physics. Thank you very much.
Passo a palavra ao professor Dr. Glaucio Oliva para encerrar a sessão.
Okay, this was a very brief session of the congregation of the Institute of Physics of São Carlos. Brief, but absolutely important and of a tremendous honor for us to have this session here. I switch back to Portuguese now. E vou então encerrar essa sessão agradecendo especialmente aos membros da congregação que aqui compareceram. Nós sabemos que o mês de janeiro frequentemente é um mês difícil, porque coincide com as férias de verão de muitos de nós, e ter aqui a congregação tão amplamente representada, com ampla maioria, às vezes difícil até de conseguir essa maioria nas nossas sessões regulares de deliberações administrativas, mas fico extremamente feliz de estar com todo mundo aqui presente, especialmente por estar recebendo também vários de nossos colegas, visitantes. Queremos, desde já, destacar, em especial, a presença de colegas portugueses, professor Elvira, professor Rodrigo, que também nos honram muito com a sua presença, vão estar essa semana aqui nos visitando por um par de dias, apresentando seminários importantíssimos, e fazendo divulgação do trabalho amplamente pioneiro que eles têm realizado na Universidade Nova de Lisboa. Já então aproveito o final da nossa sessão para convidá-los para essas atividades que ocorrerão ao longo de amanhã aqui no Instituto, e também para convidá-los para a palestra pública que o professor Bill Phillips fará daqui a uma hora, mais ou menos, nessa mesma sala. Há uma previsão de uma participação muito ampla pelo número de inscrições que nós tivemos à palestra, que excede provavelmente o número de lugares que essa sala comporta. Então, nós vamos, nesse momento, convidar a todos. Nós temos um pequeno coffee break aí fora, para aqueles que vão permanecer aguardando até a hora da palestra, mas a gente talvez devesse se deslocar de volta para cá um pouquinho antes, para poder ter os lugares preservados e vocês consigam sentar para assistir à brilhante palestra que vai ser preparada aqui pelo professor Phillips. Eu agradeço a presença de todos, mais uma vez, e desta forma encerro esta sessão solene da congregação do Instituto de Física de São Carlos. Muito obrigado, boa tarde a todos.
Glad very much. Oh.